you're a founder, you know that feeling in a pitch room, right? The pressure is on. And your gut instinct is probably to paint this picture of your company as this, unstoppable, totally bulletproof machine. But what if I told you the real secret to winning over investors isn't perfection? What if it's actually about being radically honest about your flaws? Well, that's exactly what we're going to dig into.
So, let's just start with the biggest question of all. When you're in that room, facing people who've heard thousands of pitches, what are they actually listening for? What makes them lean in instead of just, checking their email under the table?
Now, the common wisdom, the sort of knee-jerk reaction, is to project this aura of absolute, unshakable confidence. To stand up and say, look, my plan is perfect. There are zero risks. And competitors? They're not even on our radar. I mean, it sounds powerful, doesn't it? But here's the thing. It is the single worst thing you can do. And here is exactly why that whole approach just completely blows up in your face. Paul Graham absolutely nails it with this quote. Investors are professional bullshit detectors. It's their job. So when you walk in trying to sell this flawless, perfect story, well, you're an amateur playing against the pros. It's a game you're just not going to win. It just sets off all their alarms.
This idea really comes into focus when an investor leans forward and asks that one question every founder dreads. So, what could go wrong with this? Let me tell you, this isn't just a casual question. It is a test. And it's not really about your business plan. It's about you. And how you answer this splits into two completely different paths. The absolute worst answer, the one that ends the conversation right there, nothing. It is an instant fail. The best answer? You might be surprised. It's to go into gruesome detail. I mean, really lay out every single landmine you can think of.
Because you have to think about what they're hearing. When you say, oh, nothing can go wrong, you're not actually showing them you're confident. You're showing them one of two things. Either one, you haven't actually thought through the real challenges, which makes you look like a fool, or two, you have thought about them and you're actively hiding them, which makes you a liar. And guess what? Neither a fool nor a liar is getting that check. So, let's flip it. What if you do the complete opposite? What if you lean into all those scary risks and detail them with total honesty? What does an investor really hear then? It's definitely not weakness. It's something way, way more valuable. What they hear is that you have spent a ton of time thinking about this, that you live and breathe this problem. They hear expertise. And maybe most importantly, they hear honesty. And that's the bedrock of trust. They see a founder who actually gets it. That early-stage investing is not about finding some magical risk-free idea. That doesn't exist. It's about finding a founder who's smart enough and trustworthy enough to manage all the risks that are inevitably coming. Okay, so this exact same logic, this principle of candor, applies directly to how you talk about your competitors. This is another one of those make-or-break tests of your character and just your grasp on reality. You know the amateur move here, right? It's to pretend your competitors are basically invisible, or to just wave them away as being slow or dumb or totally irrelevant. But the pro move, it's to face them head-on, acknowledge them, analyze them, and be brutally honest about where you have an edge and where they might actually beat you. And you know what? Here's why you can totally afford to be that honest. Any experienced investor knows this deep down. Startups almost never die because a competitor crushed them. No, they die because of bad execution. They basically die from the inside out. So, when you're candid about the competition, you're actually sending a powerful signal. You're proving that you're not distracted by the noise. It shows your focus is right where it needs to be, on your own team's ability to execute better than anybody else in the game. Okay, so all of this, the risks, the competitors, it all points to the single most important idea in a seed stage pitch. What is the investor really betting on? I'll give you a hint. It's not your 5-year financial projection, and it's not your current product. Let's just be super clear about this. Everyone sitting around that table knows that a seed-stage startup is, by definition, insanely risky. That's the whole point. That's the game they're playing. They're looking for a tiny probability of a massive, massive win. And because of that, they absolutely do not expect your idea to be perfect. Nobody does. They know that whatever plan you have today is almost guaranteed to change, probably dramatically, over the next couple of years.
So what are they looking for? It's simple. Promising hypotheses, a really interesting starting point, some kind of unique insight into a market that makes them think, there might be something huge hiding there. That's really it. That's all the idea has to be at this stage.
But in this right here is the whole point of everything we're talking about.
While your idea can be a flawed, messy hypothesis, they expect you to be thoughtful and honest. Those two qualities, they are completely non-negotiable. This is the real due diligence. This is what they're trying to figure out when they ask you about risks and competitors.
And this brings us to what we can call the candor advantage. It's all about using brutal honesty as a strategy. It's about turning what feels like a weakness, your risks, your competition, into your single greatest strength, because it directly signals those two core traits that investors are really betting on, your thoughtfulness and your integrity.
So how do you actually use this? It's really just a simple two-step playbook. First, when they ask you about risks, you embrace the gruesome detail. Show them you've already had the nightmares so they don't have to. And second, be completely candid about your competition. Know their strengths and be crystal clear about your own.
And here it is, the ultimate takeaway. You have to remember, in that early stage pitch, you are not selling a business plan. It's just too soon for that. You are selling yourself. You're proving that you are the right person, with the right character and the right mindset to steer this thing through the chaos that's coming.
So, I'm going to leave you with this one question to think about before you walk into your next pitch. What is your actual goal? Is it to sell a shiny, flawless, and frankly unbelievable idea? Or is it to prove that you are the thoughtful, honest, and resilient person who can take an imperfect starting point and wrestle it into a huge success in the messy real world? The choice is totally yours.